49ers on the road at the Dallas Cowboys. 49ers are 3-point underdogs as they head into Arlington to Jerry's World. This is sitting anywhere 50.5 to 51 and has been pretty much all week, which doesn't make me feel great about the one bet that I have in my account as we sit right now, which is the under in this game. I took under 51. And nobody seems to agree with me in this thing. I am pretty heavy on the 49ers being able to have some run success here. I'm pretty heavy on the fact that the way that you attack this 49ers defense is deep passes, and Dak Prescott has been woefully inaccurate on deep passes over the last month and a half. He doesn't seem to be right completely ever since that calf injury. Something to me, just, again, eye test type deal, just doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem like he's able to get anything done down the field. And so, then you couple that with the fact that this 49ers pass rush, right? So when they send 4 or fewer rushers, they generate the third highest quarterback pressure rate of nearly 30%, 29 and change, and sack rate in the NFL. And it's just, I think that they're going to be able to kind of disrupt that as well. I don't know. I just don't see a ton of points in this one, Brad. No one seems to agree with me, however. What do you see going on here?
I agree with you that the 49ers pass rush is potentially a menace here. You probably look at left guard, one of the Connors, Connor Williams or Connor McGovern against Arik Armstead or whoever they line up there is probably not a good matchup for the Cowboys. I don't think it's a bit like, talking about the Tampa run D. He's got this reputation. This Cowboys O-line is not what it was 2 years ago, in my opinion, and I do think the 49ers should have some success getting home. I do also agree they should be able to run the ball. That's the weakness of this Dallas defense, the kind of middle of the pack in rush D, DVOA, and you would suspect the 49ers just spam that. I guess where I'd be concerned is explosive runs. Again, Dallas are bottom 5 in the NFL and allowing explosive runs, which you would think the Niners would do. And do the 49ers have an advantage with all that speed? If you're trying to play the traditional drop back passing game, all that speed in the D line is a menace. But if you're trying to throw screens, trying to misdirect them, trying to get some run after the catch, can you use that speed against them? I think you possibly can, and you possibly get some explosive plays from Deebo. So yeah, I think it's a bad matchup for the Cowboys, however you look at it.
So Brett, we take a look here, and you've got this pass rush from the Niners, and we expect it to do well. I mean, it's done well against every team so far this year, as we mentioned. However, when they don't get home for a sack, or when they don't get pressure with that front four, they're allowing a 73.5% completion percentage and 6.7 yards per attempt. So it's like, yeah, they're getting there over a third of the time, either sacking or pressuring over a third of the time. But when they don't, they're allowing these teams to have a lot of success, which again, if you do just go with the raw weapons that you see for the Cowboys in CeeDee Lamb and in Amari Cooper, and yes, they're down Michael Gallup in this thing, but you do have 2 elite wide receivers and you do have Dak Prescott. So if they're not pressuring Dak, you would, again, conventional thinking would be that they would be able to have their way with this secondary.
Yeah, that's a concern, and might be why the total keeps creeping a little higher. Mm-hmm. That said, I still really like the Niners in this spot. Am I going to be able to get a 3.5 here?
I think it's going to come. I do.
That's what I'm watching for today. If I can get a 3.5, I'm definitely grabbing some Niners action. And I know
it's juice threes right now at DraftKings, MGM, and 365. And Rivers is a 3.5 right now. So there you go.
It will last long, I will say, because the entire world wants 49ers plus 3.5, I think.
Yeah, I might have to jump on that. But I mean, look, I know that move isn't that big with the total this high, but look, I do see this being a back and forth tight game between two good football teams. So the hook could ultimately matter. So if I can get an inexpensive 3.5, that's where I'm going to go. I just think the Niners are very good. They were one of my favorite teams coming into the year. Dealt with some injuries early on, but really have rounded into form at the right time. They're healthy right now, as long as Trent Williams is able to play. He was at practice on the field on Thursday. That's obviously a big need against this Dallas front. The big thing for me is the Niners. The narrative about the Niners of that they are a one-dimensional running football team, which it's just not true. I mean, the efficiency in the run game has really opened up a lot of things through the air. They're second in the NFL in yards per pass this season. This is a very good, balanced, underrated offense, and I think there's value on this team right now. I mean, this line is telling me that Dallas is better than San Francisco, and I don't think they are. So I would probably bet Niners money line if I didn't already have a lot of exposure to Niners futures coming into this game. So I'll just ride those tickets this week probably. But if I can find an inexpensive 3.5 out there today that kind of pops, and it sounds like it already has, I'll be grabbing that. Although this 3.5 is probably juice at Rivers.
Yeah, a little juice, but not bad. I think you're paying $115 over there, so not the end of the world for sure. It's certainly cheaper than if you bought anything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing for me in this one. And listen, I'm not big on James Garoppolo. He did get his big boy pants last week and became James. He's
James
no longer
again.
Jimmy. Yeah, he's James last week. He got his big boy pants on and went out there and did what he needed to do. But I mean, look, there were still in that game, despite him playing by far his best game in quite a while, there were still some throws in which you were like, bro, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you doing? How in the world is this happening? And so I wonder if they find themselves in a position where they have to, and they need that throw. They need something from him if he's going to be able to get it done 2 weeks in a row. I do honestly wonder about that. But I think one of the things we're all three on here is that Deebo is going to play a massive role one way or the other, whether the 49ers win or lose in this game. We get the rushing prop of 28.5, and then we get the receiving prop of 60.5 right now. Brett, I look at this and I say, look, if you're the 49ers and you're trying to do this optimally and win, and especially considering that Eli Mitchell is banged up, I mean, like, you're probably still going to get 12, 14 carries out of Eli Mitchell because they just play him hurt. They have to. They don't have a choice. But I see Deebo getting a handful of carries in this. When I say a handful, 6 to 8 carries in this game. And if he can get 6 to 8 carries in this game, I feel pretty confident in an over on 28.5 yards.
Yeah, he can get that in one play. That's the great thing about Deebo. He's just so electric once he has the ball in his hands that he can do it all in one play. Sometimes that's all it's going to take. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And then on the receiving side, Brad, if we take a look, I mean, it's 60.5 for him. 60. It's gotten bumped up to 63.5 at DraftKings. So the over started getting bet there at DraftKings on this thing. So up to 63.5 on Deebo. I think this is a little bit muted because yes, some of his plays are going to be run out of the backfield here. And yes, I think people think that Diggs is going to be able to have some success. I think Diggs is good. I think Deebo's elite. And so it's weird for me to say that I think that both of these are kind of overplays, but I think Deebo has a nice day receiving as well in this game. So I don't know, 60.5 that you can still get at BetMGM seems just egregiously low to me.
Yeah, one stat to back that up. Niners are first in the NFL in yards after the catch. And Deebo actually had the best yards after catch season by a receiver in 5 years. And the Cowboys are second last in the NFL in yak allowed. And Diggs has got a bad tackling grade as well. So, you wouldn't be surprised, rather than testing him deep, just get the ball in his hands and let him go. So I've not bet the receiving prop. I did bet that rushing over 28.5. Again, like you, I had him, 6 to 8 carries at say six yards a carry is what he's been doing the last 2 months of the season, and that gets us a little bit of breathing room to the over there. Last thing I would say is the 49ers defense is getting a lot healthier. Dre Greenlaw came back last week. Emmanuel Mosley came back last week. Kawan Williams was missing last week. He'll be back this week. So they're about as healthy as they've been all season on the defensive side. The tough thing with the Cowboys is that they're so hot and cold. That one, I think it was Sunday night against the Washington football team where they looked absolutely unstoppable, but they've just not done that regularly. And you look at the
that
numbers
football team
was
they were ravaged by injuries and COVID and the whole 9 yards in that one as well. So I take that one with a grain of salt.
So I think there's a non-zero chance. There's a good chance they come out and try and establish the run with Zeke. It doesn't work. They come out, start trying to throw it short of 6. It doesn't work. And then maybe they start trying to test them down the field, which, you've spoken about is the weakness of the 49ers. But is it going to be too late? And then you just setting the pass rush free. So, I think the Niners are a good bet.
Yeah, and no traditional teaser legs this week or whatever, but if, as close to one as you could get would be taking the Bucks down to 2.5 and then taking the Niners up to 9. Brett, I mean, listen, again, there's no traditional ones this week, but that's as close as you're going to come. I still think the Bucks win. I think that they might struggle to a win, but I still think that the Bucks win. And then if we like the Niners at 3, we certainly like them at 9. So again, if you're looking to get in the teaser streets this week, that's about as close as you're going to get.
Yeah, I guess. I just think there are way better ways to get down on the Niners this week, starting with the money line. And yeah, if you can get 3.5, I think the Niners run to the NFC Championship starts here. I love this team, so I would not tease them. I would just bet them straight up.